Hey there, girlfriend. Have you ever wondered how do you do it scared? Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this in today's video. We'll see you on the other side. Hey there, Anne. How you doing, girl?
Good. How are you doing today?
Oh, I am doing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We are so excited to have you here today. But before we actually get started, girl, and talk about how do you do it afraid, we want to get to your business. We want to know a little bit about you, who you are, who you serve, and how you serve.
All right, everybody. My name is Anne Crawford. I'm a career transition coach. So I do serve men, women, and the military, but a lot of my focus is on women because we have different, how should I say, struggles and more pressure on us, I believe, than most other people, such as men and military. So my thing is really getting my clients to know themselves very well before you move forward in a career that you absolutely love. And that's where being a little scared and afraid and fear comes into, or I should say, bubbles up to the surface, as I say, because the more you go out of your comfort zone, the scarier it can get. I review resumes, cover letters. I get you ready for those interviews, and I run an employment support group. I do a lot of work with the military as far as being a mentor for business owners, actually mostly women business owners, and I do a lot of volunteer work for the ESGR, Employer Supported the National Guard and Reserves, teaching them USERA laws that protect them when they are deployed. So that's who I am. So let's get rolling here.
All right, girl, let's get rolling. Let's get rolling. So, we are focusing on female leaders. And I know just from the stories that you told me before we actually started the recording, you have some really powerful stories on how you help women overcome, I guess, really their self-doubt. So, I wanted to ask you, you talked about people stepping out of their comfort zone. What are some of the reasons why, from your vantage point, people typically want to stay where they are and not make that leap of faith?
Oh, home life, everything's comfortable. You have a certain role as a woman that you're supposed to fit, like take care of the kids, but make $1 million and have the house really in great shape. So
Right.
what pressure could there be there? But the fear base is they don't want to move out of that, but inside says move forward. So that's their gut is telling them, I love what I do, but I want more, and we all deserve more.
Right.
So why not go for it?
So I know you were telling me a couple of stories where you had some different situations. Can you give us some insight on some of the people that you've helped rise up to, I guess, what they ultimately wanted to do more so than staying in the status quo type of position?
Well, as we discussed, I'm going to discuss this wonderful young lady who I would pay to be about 40, and she was a lawyer. Now, she loved certain aspects of her law practice.
Okay.
Her mind as a lawyer works a certain way, and she was born for that. But there was some pressure from her parents, which we found out later, that really kept her there much longer than she wanted to be. And the pressure of disappointing her parents, and she knew all the money that went into getting her law degree, kept her there a very long time. So when we discussed what she likes and what she thrives in, writing and speaking really came to the front port. So I said, let's sit down and tell me what you love about writing and what you would like to write about. And it's interesting because in the beginning she didn't have a clue of what she wanted to write about. But I kind of got her to figure out she liked educating people. That's what lawyers do. So she decided to write about how to educate young women going into the law degree field and how to distinguish which degree in law that you would like. I mean, she dealt with real estate and executor issues and stuff like that, but some do animal rights, some do immigration. There's a million things. And once she got cooking on that, then I said, it's time to think about speaking. And she said, "Oh, I'm scared to death." And there's that fear factor again,
Right.
because she hadn't really done it. But I said, when you talk about things that you absolutely love, there will be no fear about it. And she did. She talked about her struggles going through her demise, about disappointing her husband if she didn't continue with the law degree, and her
Right.
family. And she really, really did a great job with it. And from there, she just blossomed and moved forward.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome to hear. So at the end, she became the speaker and the writer that she wanted
Yeah.
to be.
I'll be honest with you, she did still stay in law,
Okay.
but she had like 3 or 4 people working under her. And what she did is she decided to give them more responsibility. There's that fear factor again. Well, it's my business and I don't, I'm used to controlling everything. But she
Right.
relaxed with that and decided to give them more responsibility so that she could go out and teach and speak and write and really start shining on her own. And it really worked well. Did it work overnight? Absolutely not. But
Right.
if you incorporate these things slowly, there is no fear to it.
I love it. Yeah, because that was going to be my next question: is how do you gain that confidence to do something completely out of your comfort zone?
You first have to go in, like we were discussing, networking. And, I teach my clients how to network according to their personality style. So, to be honest with you, how relaxed you are if you're in the grocery line and somebody's taking a long time.
Right.
The next person might talk to you and go, "Oh, this is ridiculous. We should help her. She should have gotten in a different line." Well, then you start talking about, I have gotten 3 clients by the grocery line, because you're talking about something mutual that everybody's going through.
Right.
And that's what I suggest everybody do, is you just start with something like, if you love cars, go to a car show, start talking it up as the things you love after you've talked about the engine and the wheels. Fishing, art, you name it, basket weaving. Go someplace where conversation starters are something that you're comfortable with and you have a common thread there.
Right.
And then the rest is history.
I love it.
History.
I love it. I love it. So finding those commonalities,
Absolutely,
making it easier to really connect with something that you truly care about and that the other person cares about too.
Yep.
And when you're setting yourself in those type of situations, then it's easier to connect with people because you don't have this icky feeling that you're trying to sell them something. You're truly connecting with them.
Oh boy, selling is like the biggest nightmare known to man. Yeah, I've seen it in the big networking things I go to. The difference between, I walked in the room for the first time, and everybody walks through the room for the first time when you're in business.
Right.
Women, I have to say, have more of a personality for this than men. We have a tendency, if something goes wrong in our lives, to talk to our girlfriends. It is a power that you cannot even compare to anybody else. We've got it going on. So when you go into these big rooms, you have to say to yourself, listen, everyone else is in the same boat. So I'm going to go up to somebody and I'm going to not talk about what they're doing, but I'm going to ask them how they got here. Did they get lost? What are the Red Sox doing? It's something that
right.
is not full sales.
Right.
And I've been witness to it, where somebody in the real estate, they didn't even ask me a question. They just said, "We sell real estate. Are you selling right now?" And I went, no, actually I'm not. And they actually walked away.
Oh, get out.
I was like, okay, am I on candid camera here or something? I'm like, I can't believe it. And I went,
Wow.
Don't even bother. Don't get upset. It's their problem, not yours.
I totally get that, because it's all about the relationship. And I think that's what people don't understand that are in the sales world, especially if they're doing it old school way. That's typical old school way right there.
Yes.
That you're going to just walk up to somebody, ask them if they want what you have. If they don't, then you're going to walk away. What about all the people that they know? I mean, have that, like similar to that commercial where they were talking about all the people in their network. Just because you're talking to that one person, you're forgetting all these other people that they may know, and as a result of connecting with them, that they could potentially refer you to.
Oh,
or share you with
right,
them.
right.
So, but okay, this person is not the person. Okay, but what about all the other people they know?
You got
So
that
I'm
right.
so
You
glad.
got that
I'm
right.
so glad that you touched on that. So,
It,
so glad.
it
What
can
is
be,
another? Go ahead. You have
no, I was going
something?
to say it can really be magical. I just have one more little quick nugget. So somebody at Gillette Stadium, they people can run beer stands. It's a lot involved, but it's actually a great fundraiser for churches and organizations. They get a certain amount of profit. So somebody in my employment group, she got her beer stand in more of the higher end seats. And
Okay.
I said, work this to your advantage. Don't be pushy, but people are going to come up to you and they've had a few drinks, so they're loosened up
Yep.
and they're going for a product that they really like. You don't even have to sell them beer, but you
Yep.
can say to them, geez, how's work going for you? Or something like that. Does your boss know you're here? And that starts a conversation. She got a job because somebody came up to her beer stand and said, you know what? My boss is looking for somebody.
Oh
And if
wow.
you're interested in it, I'll send them over. And they had like a mini interview right there at the beer stand.
Wow.
But she had to
Wow.
put herself out there. And she never thought that this could be a networking thing. But I'm telling you, everybody, if you do it properly, without the hard sell, and do it casually, you never know who somebody knows and somebody knows. It's networking is key for everything.
Yes, I love it.
Fear-based, every kind of behavior pattern. If you network correctly, that fear goes away.
Yes, and I'm a firm believer in that. I think that's a lost art in the sales world, that people are not treating people like the humans they are, but they're treating them like numbers. And people can feel that energy,
Mm-hmm.
that transactional energy is what I'm going to call it. That you're only talking to them for a transaction. It's not to really connect with them, to help them to be seen, heard, and understood, because that's what people want. You are merely just a number to them. And then,
Yep.
just like you said, that real estate person was just like, okay, she doesn't want to sell real estate. Next.
Oh, I passed her word around all right, but it wasn't in a good way.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure. For sure. Now, I know you were talking about another client of yours that you were serving as well. It was a different circumstance. So can you enlighten us with that a little bit?
Oh, the doctor, the woman doctor, the woman who probably is going to be on Time magazine as the most successful doctor on earth with
Oh
all
wow.
kinds of achievements. She
Okay.
was in every journal. She had 4 practices. I went to her office because she was in a dilemma about whether or not she was going to move out to Denver, Colorado. She was from Rhode Island, and take a job. To me, I'm like, okay. But what was holding her back, and once again, this is fear based,
Yep.
was several things. One, she wasn't in a great marriage, so the man was kind of domineering, controlling. And 2, here we go again with disappointing the parents. Now, she was brought up in a traditional household. I won't say what country or anything, but let me just say this: the men are revered more than the women.
Right.
So her brother went into the father's business,
Okay.
where she, the high achiever, was spectacular in her doctor career, wasn't even noticed by her parents.
Wow.
So
Wow.
she decided, okay, if I go to Colorado, what happens next? Her husband probably wouldn't go with her because he didn't think it was necessary. And what does she do with her 2 children? Now, that's where women are a little different than men, because they tend to put their children first, which
Yep.
every human being should do. But what's going to happen to them if she goes and they don't follow? Because she was torn about taking them out of their schooling. They were not little children, but they were like middle school age.
Right.
So what do? You break down the situation. You find out what the pain point was, and it was not being recognized.
Right.
And she did not need now to prove herself to anybody. I said, it's your time to prove yourself to yourself, to you, not
Right.
anybody else. So
Yep.
she's like, well, I never realized how much I was doing that. That controlled my life. Then it was, what ways can she work with her husband? If they got a divorce, how would it work with the children? And so I said, the most important thing is not the time you are with your children, it's the quality of time you are with your children.
Yep.
And she had to think about that for a little bit, because it was bred into us that we need to be home every night, have dinner ready, do the wash, and take them to soccer practice. And she had to take a little time to figure that one out. But then when I said school vacations, you would get them 100% to yourself, she liked that idea. I said, what's stopping them from coming out for their entire summer vacation? That's an idea. And I said, and what's stopping you from flying back to Rhode Island? I mean, she certainly had the income level, so she was very lucky, that wasn't an issue.
Right.
And she said, I guess I could see my kids a lot more than I ever thought. The fear base went down. She decided to take the job and get separated. And once all that stress was off of her, then things fell into place.
That's
But
awesome.
it's finding where this anxiety and fear comes from, and then working with somebody to see all the options that you really, truly do have.
Right. I love it.
Yeah.
That is that's definitely a testament of doing it afraid or doing it scared, so you can, and then figuring it out along the way. Because oftentimes I have found, and I'm sure you would agree with this as well, that we are so caught up in the unknown. It's the unknown that's really what we're fearing.
Absolutely.
But when we go on the other side, and it's just like, well, this ain't that bad at all. What was I tripping over? I mean, this was nothing. It was just, oh my gosh, I've never done this. I may have never seen anybody do this. I don't know anybody in my family that's done this. So should I do this? Because this is completely out of my comfort zone.
Right. I ask my clients, I say, let's write a list of your pros and your cons. What are your strengths and weaknesses? The weaknesses far outweigh their strengths. And it makes me very sad, because we all carry around unlimited amounts of strength, but no one points it out to us.
Right.
So it's just becoming aware of who you are and what you're really good at is so important to moving forward in anything that you do in life.
I agree wholeheartedly. One thing I did want to ask you about is, I noticed that when you were talking about her, you said that she was putting her kids first, and that you felt like that was the right thing to do. Is that really the right thing to do when it comes to, just living? Because I think about when you're on the airplane, we have that, they say, okay, before you apply the mask to the children, that you put your mask on first.
Oh, absolutely.
It just made me resonate with that. So I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, I didn't mean like you give up yourself. In fact, I just want to make it very clear that you're 100% correct. That if you don't make yourself first, you can't be there for your children. I think she was more worried about their feelings and being rejected and having them be angered at her for leaving.
Okay.
And as mothers, we tend to put value in that more than ourselves.
Okay.
I told her, your children will thrive even more when they see you happy.
Right.
I think we are a reflection on our children or co-workers or our spouses or whomever is important to us in our lives, that if they see us happy and balanced and moving forward, filled with confidence and able to take the leaps that we need to dissolve that fear, you will be admired and loved even more than you can possibly imagine. What an incredible role model you will be. I do know one thing though. It takes years sometimes for people to truly find themselves. But if you start the process now, especially women who have so much on their plate, I guarantee you, with help along the way, pick your mentors correctly, pick the people who you surround yourself with correctly, and pick non-judgmental people who are
Yes.
there to support you.
Yep.
That's a really good thing to do.
I would completely agree with that. I think that's why as you get older, people are less likely to really care what other folks think. They're more rebellious and just like, I really don't care what you think about XYZ because I'm going to do it because I want to do it.
Right.
Not because I'm trying to fit in or be what somebody else wants me to be. They're more apt to be like, I really don't care. I really don't care.
Right. There's one saying like, if you're not for it, then give me specific reasons why. And usually they're deep down, they're afraid that you're going to leave them because they're used to seeing you in a certain role and being there for them. But once you assure them that, your friendship's not going to change, or I'll always be there for Christmas, or whatever is important to them, then they're gung-ho. I think it comes from their fear base. I fear for your safety if you go this place. You shouldn't move there. I've heard really bad things about you. And what are they mimicking? Maybe they're mimicking their parents, things that they saw. Yeah, you're absolutely.
Or their own personal fears, and they're trying to put their fears on you.
Absolutely.
That's something that they wouldn't personally do themselves. So because they wouldn't personally do themselves, how are they going to allow you to do what they wouldn't do? No, I mean, you're laughing.
I see it all the time. All the time. I've known people that have moved from countries that they barely knew English to live here, and they never got the recognition. I said, how spectacular is that? That as a woman in her 20s, you got married to a foreigner, came to the United States, you didn't know the language hardly at all, you're raising your children, and you have ended up getting a job and thrived. That's pretty incredible. But they didn't think it was. They just said, well, I had to do what I had to do. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, but if it was the other way around, I don't know if that person would have the same know-how, or what do they call it? FIO, the figure out ability to make it through. So yeah, that just wraps it up for sure. Well, I wanted to tell us how the audience can get in touch with you, Anne.
Well, you can basically find me on LinkedIn, so you type in the www.linkedin.com/ANCRAWFORD. You'll find me there. And really all the rest of my information is there. My website is www.anncrawfordlifecoach.com. And I'll be more than happy to talk to you about anything. My email is careercoach.ann, and I spell it with an E, at gmail.com.
Well, yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to put all of that information down in the show notes so you guys don't have to worry about writing anything down. You can just go down to the description and just click the links and connect with her and, possibly hire her because she did give us some golden nuggets, and we greatly appreciate all that you've shared with us today, Anne.
Well, I appreciate you. You're like the powerhouse for all of us women here. Just spreading the world and making us even stronger every day. So thank you so much.
Oh, yes. That is definitely my plight in life, is to empower women to be the best version of themselves, for sure. Because just like you talked today, because it's so often we get bombarded by people telling us that we can't do certain things, or even the fear inside of us saying that we can't do it because we don't know exactly 100% how to do something. So just giving people the wings so they can fly and do the things that they were meant to be. That is what I'm all about, for sure.
There's nothing stopping us except
us. That's right. Let us.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and check us out on the next interview. Bye for now.